yes, I will mail this letter. I will mail it into the wind so that at least the seasons will know. When I was a child, I was very, very shy. The only time when I would step out of my shell would be on the occasions when my dad would take my cousins, my siblings, and me to the beach. I loved going to the beach for two reasons. First, that is where I would get to spend quality time with my dad, where he would make us discover many new interesting things. Secondly, and most importantly, in shaping my life, there was a process I would use to positively influence my dad. I would write a letter to him and sign with the name of his best friend. The content of the letter would be, "Dear Mr. Niang, I am kindly writing this letter to ask you to take your son, Ibu, and his siblings to the beach this afternoon." And then I would sign with the name of his best friend. And then I would nervously slide it under his door and then run to my bedroom. And then I would anxiously wait to hear my dad unlock his bedroom door. Sometimes he would just return to his room and then wait for a moment before coming out and calling my name. "Ibu, can you please ask everybody who wants to go to the beach to get ready? I received a letter from your uncle. We are going to the beach." We all knew that I was being creative. We all laughed about it, but it was really the most effective way in influencing my dad. I understood the power of language and creativity in influencing action, and that is when I started to become a creative activist. Now, think of a book, a song, poetry, a painting, a movie that moved you and changed your perception. Can you remember what you felt after watching the documentary An Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore? After seeing the painting Guernica by Pablo Picasso? After listening to the song We Are the World? If you haven't, ask the person sitting next to you. Did you know that the movie An Inconvenient Truth brought to attention the ever-pressing fight against climate change to international success? Did you know that the painting Guernica is still regarded as one of the most influential universal symbols for the fight against loss of human lives and war? Did you know that the song We Are the World in the 80s helped raise over $68 million for humanitarian aid in Africa and the USA? How many of us have felt, after hearing the political message in any of those art forms, felt like, yes, this is the moment, I need to rise up, I am part of this struggle? I felt that way when I read poems from Léopold Sédar Senghor and Aimé Césaire. I had the impression that Césaire was looking at me straight in the eyes and telling me, Ibu, you've got to rise up. The power of the symbolism and the depth of the political message moved me to a point that I felt that I was really engaged. I felt that I had a moral obligation to contribute. I felt that I had the power to contribute. And many people around the world joined that movement. And what started as writing slowly became a universal cultural movement. So, Feeling moved is the cornerstone of creative activism. Whether one feels they are inspired because they were moved by a book, a poem, or a song. On a sunny summer day, I was seated by a laguna in Senegal. My intention was just to rest and have a good time. I didn't plan for what was going to happen. A bird, a pelican, was dying before my eyes. I felt helpless. There was nobody attending to it. Although I'm sure that I have experienced compassion earlier than that in my life, this was actually the first time I was becoming aware of that feeling. And because I was aware of that feeling, I decided to write a poem so that people could go through that transformative experience I was going through. So after writing the poem, I traveled with it to other places in the world. And when I read it in front of hundreds of people, people could actually feel the power of those words, and they were aware of their compassions. And because they were aware of their compassion, they started to have conversations with me on human dignity, on Africa. So that one poem opened many new doors for discussions. Now, it is your turn to rise up, unleash your potential, and be part of this new framework. But before I leave you, I want you to mull over the following lines. Open yourself to the world like a butterfly who serenely soars towards imagined places. Thank you.